Odd 4, Part B, Take 2.
You got on my face, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So welcome to Module 4, Part B, Fight to be Positive. Remember, I want you to write this down, fight to be positive. Write it down somewhere with a pen on a piece of paper and underline, circle, star, fight. So here's the story. I'm going to a callback. What's a callback? It's right in the name. It's a callback. So it's my second time in the room for the same part. So I've gone the first audition. Maybe there are 10 people auditioning for the same part. This is a film audition. So usually for film and television, you have somewhere between 5 and 10, 7 and 10 people auditioning for the role. In a commercial, you could have anywhere up to like 300 or 500 people auditioning for the role. So I'm up against 10 people. I have an audition. I get a callback. My agent phones me out. Rogerino, got a callback. And so I'm one step closer. I'm only up against maybe 2 other actors. But because I'm human, when we get closer to what we want, rather than relaxing more, enjoying it more, recognizing how much closer we are and how we've actually, we're now in front of the pack. There are people who have been left behind. Instead of enjoying or appreciating any of those things, because we're human, we tend to just focus on the stress. We're closer. We want it more. It's almost in our grasp, and as a result, the stress is higher in our body. So we want to fight that. First of all, we want to fight. We want to make sure the stress that's in our body is the good type of stress. So what we do, we fight back by keeping this Rogers rule at the forefront of your thought. You write it on the inside of your eyelids so you'll always remember it. So just as you're walking in the door to a second whatever, callback, second pitch, whatever, keep in mind, they already like me. Or they already like my product, or they already like what I'm selling, or they already like whatever, right? Because they wouldn't be walking in that door for a second anything if they hadn't already chosen you, if they hadn't already said, we want something from this person, we like something about this person, right? That's the last thing that we usually have on our mind when we're walking in. We're usually walking in massively stressed and going, oh, I'm closer, I hope this is gonna go, well, better, whatever. Instead, we wanna walk into a warm room. We wanna walk in carrying the warmth. We want to walk in saying, they already like me. Let me relax into that. Let me, find my joy and my energy in the knowledge that they already have chosen me, as opposed to focusing on the stress. Which is, I'm closer and I'm a human, so I feel like that. Okay, so I'm walking into a callback. I believe you can book work by how you are in the room. In the room, so you guys would be the camera. Right next to you would be a reader. Right on the other side of the camera is sitting the director and the producer. It happens to be a female director and a male producer. And over there is the casting director who brought me in. So I believe you can book work by how you are in the room, right? So I try to be the best part of myself I can be. I try to be the biggest, best, most authentic me. I try to bring out the parts of myself that I love the most in those situations, my playful side, my fun side, my friendly, engaging side, my caring about other people's side. I try to bring the parts of myself that I want in the room in with me. And so I'm talking to the people, I'm talking to the producer and director, things are going well, and the director says, okay, let's start. So the moment I start my performance, so the camera says rolling, the reader reads the first line, and I give my line back to the reader. I don't look at the camera, obviously I'm looking at the reader, and the moment I do that, in my line of sight, right over there where I can see the producer who has the power in that room usually because they have the money. It's not always the case, but usually the producer has more of the power than the director. The producer, at the moment I open my mouth and start talking, does this. Puts his elbows on the table, puts his face in his hands, and he goes, and he makes a sound like, oh, I don't know if I can live any longer with this happening. I don't know if I can put up with another moment of this type of boredom or this type of aggravation. It's like I'm giving up. And in that moment, when I see that out of the corner of my eye, I lose it. Like the inside of my brain goes crazy. I am under stress. Remember, this is a callback. So as much as I'm bringing in this energy of fun and they already like me written on my eyelid, the reality is I'm a human. And the moment I see this, the human part of me, the human stress, angry, negative part of me comes charging to the surface. And it's that pressure that wants to squirt out. It so desperately wants to squirt out. And the thing about pressure is that it wants to equalize. So when you feel this pressure inside of you, it desperately wants to get out into the world. It's not happy just pressurizing the inside of your body. It doesn't want to end there. It doesn't want to, that's not the end of what it wants to do. It wants you to explode and let that pressure out into the world so it can equalize and balance, so you can get rid of it and get back to some sort of center, some sort of grounded spot. So desperately wants to come out. And I have a nanosecond in that moment. A nanosecond's nanosecond to decide what I'm going to do, right? Because the back of my head has expanded. You must know what I'm talking about, speakers. This should be a very intimate, an intimate activity that you've been involved in. The back of my head expands till it's the size of like a football stadium. It looks like, there's a football game and cheerleaders. Oh, what's that over in the corner? There's a demolition derby going off with cars smashing into each other. Oh, and there's a band playing the overture of 1812 with cannons going off, and there's all sorts of things. I think there's an alien invasion going on back there, and so much is happening in the back of my head that is just desperately trying to come out to the front, right? So in my nanosecond, I grab on to a Rogers Rule. Thank goodness, right? Like, instead of screaming and yelling, because what I want to say to that producer is, what? Like, you invited me here. Why are you acting like this? I worked really hard. I'm stressed out. I'm trying to do, what are you? Like, all this stuff wants to come out of me, right? Because I'm stressed. I'm in a stressful situation. So instead, I remember Rogers' Rule, fight to be positive. So I fight to be positive. I push that stuff to the back of my head and I focus my energies on the outer surface of what I'm doing, and I fight to be positive and to stay in the scene. And so I do. Thank goodness. I keep going. And while I'm talking, while I'm acting, there's the producer in the corner of my vision, sitting there with his head in his hands. He hasn't even looked at me. The director's like looking at me, leaning forward, seems very engaged, but not the producer. And I continue doing the scene until I get to the end of the scene. And then I do something that I never do, or I try never to do. What I do is I finish and I turn around and I leave. Right? Because I believe you can book work by how you are in the room, right? So normally what I want to do is stay in that room. There's a study that they did that showed that people like to work with people that they're familiar with, or people like, even more basic, people like people they're familiar with. So one of the things I teach actors, and one of the things that's really good to know, is that when it's not inappropriate, you want to be in the room so people can see you. I teach actors to constantly keep their face forward so people can be looking at their face, even if they're not acting, even if it's not on camera at that moment, because you want the people who are making the decisions to be familiar with you. So the studies showed that the more people are familiar, the more they just automatically like you. The more they sort of go, oh, I know you. This is what it's like to be a celebrity, right? Like, we get to know their faces, so we get to know them, we get to like them, we often get to love them because they're familiar to us. We know them. All right, so I do what I never do. I turn and I just walk away. And I've got my hand on the door, I'm opening the door, and the director says, hey, Roger, wait a minute, wait. Come back in. Like, she's like, what are you doing, Come back in. And I turn and I go, yes. And she goes, okay, listen, I want you to do that again. And she gives me all this direction. And I'm like, what? Like, did you not look at the producer next to you who's got his head in his hands? Like, now he doesn't. Now he's looking at what you're talking about. But did you not notice that? But she keeps talking, so I come back in the room and I listen to her and I practice active listening. This is very important for when you're on conference calls or when you're under stress. The first sense, what do you guys think is the first sense that that leaves when you're under stress? What's the first sense that leaves when you're under stress? Do you guys know? Everyone, for the most part, turns into Charlie Brown's teacher. That wah, 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 wah. Like, you're like, what? My hearing, my listening is totally affected. Like, I don't know what they're saying. Like, I know they're saying something, but what they're saying, I'm not exactly sure. So what I do is I practice active listening. She talks to me for a while about what she wants, and then I repeat it back to her in as close to exactly as what she said in my own words as possible. So I just repeat it back. So I say, so, what you wanted was me to start at the beginning a little bit more frantic, to realize how much I love her in the middle of it, and at the end to be disgusted with how she's acting, right? Like, that's what you want. And then she either says yes or she corrects me, because I'm a director, so I know exactly how this happens on the other side. It is amazing how many times I'll be in a situation like directing, on stage or directing in an audition room, and I'll tell someone this is what I want to see, and then they'll do this scene, and I'll go, cut, stop, what are you doing? And they'll be going, well, you asked me to be really angry, and then you said to, to fall down. And I'll be like, well, what I didn't, I said, please be less angry. And I said, make sure that you don't slump at the end, that you make sure that you walk out with confidence. And you heard exactly the opposite of what I said, because that's what happens when we're under stress. We often don't hear, or we hear exactly the opposite, because there's just too many things coming in. There's just too many. I read a study that said something like we have something like 12 million sensory impulses that come in every second or something. It's some ridiculous number that we can never respond fully to. So we're always only responding to a very minute fraction of the sensory impulses that are coming into us. So I practice active listening to make sure that I don't get lost in the sensory overload and that I don't do the wrong thing. So I say it back, and she says, yeah, great, let's do it again. And I start the scene again. And exactly the same thing happens. The moment I start to talk, the producer, heads in his hands, elbows on the table, a dejected, defeated feeling to him, and I have to continue. But luckily, because I'm fighting to be positive and I'm already on this, I'm already on the journey to be positive, I don't let that one affect me at all. My head has still got alarm bells. I can tell that he doesn't seem interested at all, but the director is, so I just focus on the positive. I fight to be positive, and I do the scene. I stay in the room afterwards, because now I'm actually in a more positive zone, and they, say thank you, blah, 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 and then I leave. And as I walk out the door, I'm pounding my fist, I'm kicking the ground, I'm picking up my phone, and I'm pounding the keys as I'm phoning my wife. I get to the elevator and so angry, and all this anger is flowing out of me, right? That's my own potent cocktail that is now squirting everywhere because I've been holding it in so much. I mean, imagine what the other actors are, thinking as I walk by them, what happened in that room? What went on in that room? What made Roger act like that? I phone my wife, and I'm blah, 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 and I drive home, or, drive to where I'm next. Now, let's take a moment, because I really believe how you handle that potent emotional cocktail is very important. The longer you keep it inside, the more it's going to want to come outside. So what is really important is you find a release for that type of stress, that type of whatever it is, that type of emotion for you. So for me, one of the things that I do is I tie the end of the experience into a physical action. So on the way home, I might wallow in my either despair, or if the audition I think went incredibly well, I might be celebrating with joy. But whatever it is, although celebrating with joy I like to carry to my life, but so mostly for the negative, what I do is I try to end the time with a physical action. So for me, when I get out of the car and I slam the car door, when I shut the car door, and I'm just about to walk into my house or to another, to a meeting or to a job or whatever it is, that slamming is the sign, is the, physical and, auditory sign that it is now time to move on. So I've been wallowing in my despair. Now it's time to put that away and start moving on to other things, right? To try to, again, fight to be positive. Because if you don't watch out, those feelings will infect everything. And your relationships with people that you love. Most people bring the worst parts of themselves back to their relationships, back to the people they love. I know I do. I mean, I wish I didn't. I wish I could say I'm one of those wonderful people that didn't. But for me, often the people who I splash with my stress are the people who are closest to me. So try as much as possible to not do that by being aware that you're a human animal and you got to get rid of these feelings somehow. Get rid of them where you can, where it's safe, so that you don't end up building it up and becoming a horrible person to those people in your life that you love. Okay. So 2 days later, I get a phone call from my agent. Let's find out what my agent said in the next part.